What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Hustle with Jesse W. And today we're going to go over 4 things school doesn't teach you. Alright, guys, so let's jump right on into this. Thing number 1 that school does not teach you at all in this day and age is how to face failures. Throughout life, we're going to fail countless times, from sport games to job interviews to school projects, to reports, to relationships, to friendships, to just everything. There's going to be tonnage of failure throughout our lives. There is. It's just simple. It really is. There's no amount of life that goes on without having some or a lot of failures in it. It really is. It just happens. However, much like trading stocks, okay, you want to keep the failures small and that you can bounce back out of. Just like when you enter a trade and you enter a position and you want to keep the losses smaller than your winners are, which your winners will be larger. Why? Because they're going to happen. Failures, just like losses in stock trading, are going to happen. Failures in life are going to happen. You're going to fail at a job, at something in school, relationship, etc. You just want to make sure that you can bounce off of those very strong. But the problem is that school today doesn't teach anyone how to handle failure, because everyone's a winner and everyone gets participation trophies, all right? And it only matters that you tried. No, okay? Trying is extremely important. If you don't try, you don't succeed. However, it's not only mattering that if you try, it's the effort you put on behind it. The effort is really what matters. It's not so much whether you win or fail, it's how hard you tried. Anyone can try. You can try, hell, you could try to do a cartwheel, and if the cartwheel's a fail, then the reality is that if you didn't really put effort behind it, did you really try your best? If you didn't try your best, then you don't really have anything yet to be proud of. It's the effort behind the trying that really matters. However, school doesn't teach us how to face these failures, because when we fail, or when people fail in school, they're surrounded by this fake pat on the back, participation trophy type of lifestyle, versus when they fail, they don't really get critiqued. Okay, you failed because of this and that. Next time, you got to try a little bit harder and put a little bit more effort behind these certain things, and you might have a real shot at succeeding, at getting that A, at winning the science fair, at pitching a better game in the baseball finals, etc. Because you'll get a lot of people playing baseball in high school, and it's not like it used to be back in the day. Now they're babied and cuddled. Oh, it's okay. No, get out there and try harder. It's about the effort. School doesn't teach us how to think. That's another thing. School doesn't teach us how to think. Okay, school teaches us how to memorize and react. That's pretty much it. They teach us how to memorize and react. So they'll give you a whole boatload of information. You're expected to memorize it all, sit down to a quiz or test, and react to it by just remembering that information. This is why I can usually pass tests, because I'll just sit down, cram, read, absorb all that information. Sometimes it takes me a long time, and I'll get to sit down on the test and just react to it. And the more answers I have memorized, the more information I have memorized, the better it is that I do at the test. However, it doesn't teach us to think freely. They don't teach us. They put us in a systematic type of environment where you just want to absorb all the information and then just spit it all back out. It doesn't teach you to think freely. This is why critical thinking is such a hard concept, and why people who are free critical thinkers have a hard time sometimes dealing with people in society or their employees, or just people in general in life, because you'll go to a store and you'll tell someone, I need to return this because it's broken, and they'll tell you, oh no, but our policy. Okay, but this doesn't go under your policy, and they can't come out of that because they can't think. You see, what you're trying to accomplish with them isn't so much as them breaking a policy, because it's not. It's showing them that this doesn't fall under your policy. But they're just drones. All they know how to do is absorb that information from their policy and spit it back out, even if it doesn't apply. If it's not applicable, then it really doesn't apply to the situation. Therefore, you need to be able to critically think outside the box. I remember one time I was dealing with something similar, and I told the person on the phone, I don't want to talk to you anymore because you and I, we're not getting anywhere, and I don't want to be rude to you, and I don't want you to be rude to me. So I want to talk to the person who makes the business decisions at your establishment. I don't want to talk to anybody else. I want to talk to the person who has the final say. They put me on the phone with that person, and guess what? Business owner, critical thinker. We actually came to an understanding. My problem was resolved. They were happy and I was happy. But this is what happens. Society is raising a bunch of generations of drones that can't critically think. They can't handle failure. And this is because parents are just throwing their kids in school, and school is failing kids because they don't teach them the proper things that they need to learn for life. Another thing that school doesn't teach us is how to negotiate. School does not teach you how to negotiate. This is the reason why there's so many apps out there that do all the negotiation for you. This is the reason why it's big business now to have an app that will do the buying of a car for you. All you got to do is tell them what car it is and what your budget is, and they'll go ahead and they'll find the car and negotiate the price for you on your behalf. This is why, people can't negotiate and spend their money frivolously, because school doesn't prepare you for that. See, negotiation has a lot to do with controlling emotions. And oftentimes people will receive offers for items they're selling that are lower, way lower than they're expected, and they get offended by the offer. Money doesn't offend me. Money it's like a hammer. It's a tool. It's an object. So it doesn't offend me. If you give me a lowball offer, I'm just going to counter you. I'm not going to be offended, but people aren't able to control their emotions, okay? Because they aren't able to face failures. And when you lowball them on an offer, they think, oh my God, I failed at putting this listing up, or this person thinks I'm stupid. It's not the case. They're just lowballing you because they're trying to get a really good deal. But people aren't trained in how to negotiate because school doesn't teach you that. Not even college teaches you that. I have some college, and I never got taught any of that in college either. It just doesn't teach you that unless you have a specific business degree you're chasing, and then maybe. Okay, so now we know that school doesn't teach you how to face failures. It doesn't teach you how to think, and it certainly doesn't teach you how to negotiate. You want to know one thing? It for sure doesn't teach you how to do, not even a little bit, how to sell. Yep. And you would think, oh, Jesse, but why would school teach students how to sell? I mean, he wants to be, or she wants to be an astronaut. They don't need to learn how to sell. And you're absolutely right. Their profession does not require them to learn how to sell, but yet everything requires to learn how to sell. And I'm going to give you two simple reasons why you should know how to sell. At least the very basics. Two very simple reasons. The first one is when you go to a job interview and you sit down and you hand over your resume and they're interviewing you, they're asking you questions about you. You have to sell yourself, your skills to this potential employer on why they need to hire you. You have to know how to sell. You have to know how to sell your skills, whatever they may be, to the potential employer. Otherwise, why are they going to hire you? They can have the pick of the litter. There's tons of people out there looking for jobs always. And even if they're not looking, they can be offered better jobs. But if you don't know how to sell your skills to them, then how are you going to get the job? Just putting stuff on a fancy little resume or on a digital one, however the hell people do resumes now, I really don't know. I've been self-employed for 14 years. That doesn't get you anywhere if you don't know how to verbally communicate your skill level, your skills, the skills you bring to the table. If you don't know how to sell your skill level with the skills you're bringing to that company, you're not going to get the job. Okay? Another thing is everyone always sells something. Either they sell it or they throw it away. But if you don't know how to sell, then you're probably going to throw it away. This is why you drive around sometimes and you're just driving around and on bulk trash day, you're looking and people have like interesting stuff that they've thrown away that they could have sold. They could have sold. I mean, people throw away busted up vacuum cleaners that you could literally sell on eBay for parts. I remember not too long ago, I changed the outboard motor on my boat. Well, it's a little whiles ago, probably like 7 years ago or something like that. I changed that motor on my boat and I put a new motor on the boat. My old motor was seized up. It was no longer of any good unless I rebuilt the motor, parted it out, or sold or threw it away, which is ridiculous. You see, when I had the new motor put on my boat, someone offered me from the shop, I think it was like $800 for my seized up motor. I knew what I had there. I knew that I was not going to let that go for $800. I told them, no, please put the motor on a pallet and put it on the bed of my truck when I go pick up my boat. What did I do? I got that motor. I sold it for parts. I sold one part at a time. And I made over $1,500 on that motor. I easily made over, double the amount that they offered me for the entire motor. That person was either going to part it out, use the parts, or they were going to rebuild it and flip it. I did not have the time to dedicate to rebuilding the motor, because you can rebuild an outboard motor very easily. So I sold it for parts. And the lower unit of that motor fetched like $600 by itself. You see what I'm saying? But school doesn't teach you how to sell. This is something that I've, thank God, been able to self-teach. It was just naturally in me. But, we're not born usually with natural talents. And if we are, we always train them up, right? So if you're good at certain things, you will train in them in order to make that talent grow. The same holds true for everything else that we do in life. If school isn't teaching us, then we got to self-teach ourselves. So I hope that you're watching all these videos, because I'm just throwing out there the stuff that I already know and practiced. I'm going to practice if I haven't already, and maybe we can do it together. Let me know what school didn't teach you that you're actually practicing today. Drop it in the comment section below. Remember to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, because there's going to be another part 2 to this video with another 4 things that school doesn't teach you, plus a bonus number 5 at the end of the video that I think you're really going to enjoy. I hope to catch you on the next one.